Hello, Plemaniagon here for a special video, and as I said in the Great I Am series, I did promise you that I was going to do this, so I'm going to do this for you. So what this is pretty much a explanation video about the number system. So I wish I had a better way of editing this so that way you could have like the things in front of you, but we're just going to make do with what we have. So, with that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So, when I'm saying these numbers, what is it that I'm really conveying when I'm talking about this? Now, one thing that I will tell you is, for people that don't know much theory, I think it is advisable to learn theory first, because this video are for people that have an idea about what scales are and all that. So if you don't know anything about musical scales, then I would highly suggest, for the benefit of your worship team, or even if you're doing this just for your secular, like for your mainstream songs, and if you want to call out numbers for your things, this will be for you as well. So basically, when I'm talking about the number system, I'm talking about its position on the position that the note has on a scale. So let's say we have 8 positions: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because a scale, a diatonic scale, is pretty much an 8-note scale that pretty much has the notes from C to C. Now, I use the key of C as a good first example because it's the easiest one. Even if you don't have that much musical theory knowledge, this will be able to help you out, because you can look at an alphabet and be able to place them. Now, I will get into a little bit of theory with regards to that, because in music, you don't go after G. You don't say H, like the H note, or H sharp, or H flat. You don't mention that. You just go back into A when you're finished with G. So I just wanted to point that out. So at this point, when you're talking about the musical alphabet, you're talking about A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You just keep on going. So, but you're starting with C in the key of C. So you're pretty much going C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So what I want you to do, since I don't have any better way of being able to write this down, when you're looking at this video, write them down. So put C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. So just put those letters on your piece of paper, because I think it's advisable for you to be able to actually see it. So you have those numbers and those letters written out on the sheet of paper. Now, when you're looking at positioning the numbers on the scale, when I'm talking about the numbers, what you're really doing is I'm really placing those numbers on the scale on the top. That's all I'm doing. It's very simple. So I'm going to show you exactly what I mean on the piano. You won't be able to see this because of how I have my system set up, but you can actually hear what I'm talking about. So, and also just trust what I'm saying, because if you was to use a piano, and get a piano app, because you can it'll prove what I'm saying is true. So, you have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then C again. So, when I'm calling out these numbers in my tutorials, all I'm doing is I'm telling you these notes. But because I'm using numbers, I could go with any scale. In E, you got E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E. So you pretty much have that same 8-note system, because the diatonic scale works with all of the scales, whether or not they're sharps or flats or the natural variations. So yeah. So I'm pretty much giving you that explanation with regards to that. And that's just basic piano and stuff. So when I'm talking about the numbers, I'm just placing them. Now, a good way to be able to understand that is simple. Take your hands and count the notes in your hands. And then you'll see that when you count, you're placing those notes on each of the fingers, and you're basically just saying the numbers yourself. So I'm going to put 8 fingers up. So let's find out, for example, what is the 6th note of the scale. The way that you do that is by saying the scale out. Remember, I said that the C major scale was C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. That's the C major scale. It doesn't deviate. It always stays the same. So 8 fingers up. What's the 6th note? So you go C, D, E, F, G, A. See? A is the 6th note. So you go for that. And with regards to, now there's stuff about A and stuff like that that I will get into just a little bit later, because I want to be able to give this information out to you, because I want to be able to start incorporating chord progressions in my tutorials. So I want to teach this to you before I do that. So the 6th note is A. So when I say to you, whenever I say 6 in any of my tutorials, if you're using the key of C, you're always going to use A for that. It's preset, not going to change. Just pointing that out to you. It's never going to change because it's always going to be C. It's always going to be A. Sorry. I'm just, yeah. So it's always going to be A no matter what. So since I'm using A, this will be A. Now in the Grid AM tutorial, I used the 6. So if you were doing this in the key of C, your note would be A. Now let's go to a different one. Now what about 4? Let's figure out what is the 4th note in the key of C. So let's put up our 8 fingers again, and let's count. C, D, E, F. There's the 4th note, and it is in F. So F would be every time I said 4 in my tutorials. It'll always be F. So I just wanted to point that out, that's how the number system works, and you could teach this to your worship teams. Now, one other thing I will tell you is that you can also use numbers to call out progressions. I don't know if for those of you musicians out there, you will know what I'm talking about. You're talking about when musicians call out progressions such as 6-4-1-5 or 1-6-4-5 or 1-4-6-5. So in other words, just progressions like that, or even just other worship songs or praise songs where the songs could even be 6-2-1-3. What do those mean? Now, for that, it takes a little bit more preset information to know about. Now, when you're talking about these numbers, you're basically just saying, I'm going to label it in a specific manner. So, but mind you, when you're talking about the preset manner, these preset manners are in such a way that the notes that are in the preset will not leave the scale. So, if the C major scale is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, you cannot use any notes other than that when you're talking about the numbers. Let's put that. I wanted to put that out there. Don't change that. It does not change. It always is going to be C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Never anything below, above that, or other than that. So, when you're calling out these progressions, all the notes in the order will follow that. So when I'm saying when I'm saying 1, like in the progression 1, 4, 6, 5, I'm basically calling out a specific chord. Now, which chord I use depends on the position of the scale. Now, I taught you about how to position it where if 4 will always be F. So 1 will always be, so C. C is always going to be 1. D is always going to be 2. E is always going to be 3. F is always going to be 4. G is always going to be 5. A is always going to be 6. And B is always going to be 7. 8, you don't need to focus on 8 because 8 is actually the same as 1. So 8 and 1 are going to be the same. So at this point, when you're calling out these progressions, you're going to be using that system, the same system that you call out when I call out the numbers. You're going to do the same for the progressions. So if I'm saying 1 in the progression, always know that it's going to be C. Now, I'm going to give you this cheat sheet, but you should be able to think this out on your own. And that is, what do these mean? So what does it mean when it's C? When it's 1? What it means is when you play the notes, now a major and a major chord, you always got to do it one after every other one. It has to be 3 notes. So at this point, what would it be? So we do 1, 3, 5. Doesn't change. You must do that fingering. 1, 3, 5. 1, 3, 5. Now, if you do 1, 3, 5 in the fingering, not necessarily musically, technically speaking, you're doing 1, 3, 5. But in this case, I'm using 1, 3, 5 to simplify things for you. So you do C, then skip another one. You skip D, and then go to E. Skip F, and go to G. So you're always skipping the one after that and playing the one after that. So it's C, E, G. Now, when you're talking about if it's major or minor, it's getting into another thing. So basically, in numbers, C is major, D is minor, E is minor, F is major, 6 is major, A is minor, and B is diminished. Now, I'm going to explain all about major and minor what that all means. Or if you don't want to wait for that video, then there's other videos on YouTube that I would suggest looking up, and I'll explain to you a little bit about major and minor. But I just wanted to explain that to you. Is when you follow this system, it's always going to help you out with progressions. So always know that 1 is major, 2 is minor, 3 is minor, 4 is major, 5 is major, 6 is minor, and 7 is diminished. So I just wanted to explain that to you. Now, I'm going to explain that to you in another video, but if you don't want to wait, then just do that. But yeah, I just wanted to point out what those numbers mean. So, and one other thing too, and as I said before, they will go for any sort of any chord, any key, any scale. These numbers will work. And that's why I use numbers, because it's universal. You could explain to anybody about this and they'll get it. So I just wanted to explain that to you. So I will see you in the next video where I will do another song. Alright, I know, wow, this video is very long, but I'm glad I'm able to do these long videos. So I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.